I could steal. Oh, the Great Salt Lake.
All right, welcome to the Twilla Happy Hour podcast. And me and Dave are here, and tonight we have a guest, Jay Brinkerhoff. And we're going to talk about the Second Amendment, how to maintain it in Utah, hold the breach, All right, so Jay, let's start out with your story. How'd you get into firearms rights, Second Amendment rights?
Honestly, with the purchase of my first gun,
Yeah.
I started researching, looking, figuring stuff out. I actually volunteered at a gun shop who was...
Come in just a little bit closer.
They stayed pretty active and, keeping up on what was going on. They're good people.
What was your first gun?
Glock 22.
Okay. Glock 22, that's a 9mm, isn't it?
40.
That's a 40. Okay.
Yeah.
And what gun shop did you work at?
Quantum Guns in Spanish Fork.
Okay. I haven't been there. I have to go visit.
They've went out of business since I worked there.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do now?
I'm a welder.
A welder?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Hence the beard.
Yeah.
I can dig it. More flammable stuff in the arc fire.
Hey, it saved my life more than once.
Mm-hmm.
Grinders catch it and just plug up.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Sounds like an adventure.
So, all right. So you started studying. You bought a Glock 22. Started studying, and what caused you to seek out the liberty of firearms from that? What caused you?
What triggered you?
Yeah.
What
Triggered you?
I have this weird habit where when I get into something, I try to immerse myself in it, learn about as much about it as I can, because knowledge is power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be, carrying a gun, you need to understand what your limitations are, legally as well as, personally. But understand how far you can go, what is reasonable force, what is deadly force, when can I pull it, when can I not. Just kind of fill myself out on what my responsibility and what what circumstances are okay for me to use what I have.
Okay. I can dig it. Now, you weren't always a gun-toting, libertarian guy, were you?
No.
How old were you when you joined the dark side?
The dark side. I like that. I think I was 23, 24.
Okay. All right. And what was your history before that? What was your politics? There's not many politics in most 23-year-olds, at least not educated politics. There's politics that's pounded into them through education, but not politics that they've gained on their own. But what would you say you were before that?
A flip-flopper.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah, I went to Spanish Fork High. Go Dons.
Uh-huh. Dons?
Yes, sir.
What's a Don? Like a
Spanish gentleman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's really what they are?
That's really what they are.
You wear a hat?
Like Zorro. No, we didn't get to wear hats.
Or like Don Corleone and
I'd take that over,
that'd
Zorro.
Be awesome. That'd be awesome. Some mafiosos in pinstripe suits.
Get made in school.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You ever shot a Thompson?
Yes.
Oh man.
They're so much fun.
Oh, that's yep, that'll bring you to chub quick.
Yes, it will.
I probably shouldn't say that on our gentrified podcast. But anyways, I do like talking firearms. So anyway, so a flip-flopper, what do you mean by that?
So I grew up, hardcore Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as much as a teenager can be turned into a hardcore Republican. Then I served my mission on the left coast, like I was telling you, Washington State.
Mhm.
And you hear a lot about the politics out there. And, being 19, 21 years old, you're super impressionable.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you're serving a mission. You may not be a believer, but then you are, and you wanted to do a good job. So you kind of try to portray yourself well to
you try to relate to the people that you're working with. So I kind of got into, as much as you're not supposed to get into politics on your mission, I did a little bit of reading, a little bit of studying, and I found myself siding more and more with the Democratic, super liberal, progressive side of things. And
back then, who would have that been? I mean, obviously Bernie Sanders, because he's.
I don't know. It was a different degree back then, though. I mean, even I thought a little left back then, and it wasn't left like now.
No.
Yeah, left now. I mean, Stalin's going, what are you guys doing? This is ridiculous.
Rubbing his bald spot.
Yeah.
I think that was, I actually left my mission. I remember this. I left my mission on the day that Obama was inaugurated.
Oh, really?
No, the day he was elected, excuse me.
The day the day he won.
Yeah, the day he won. Sitting in the mission home, watching the news.
Him?
And that was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Obama back then, he was considered quite left, but now, I mean, even now, like if he was to run today, his platform would mirror your average Republican platform.
You think so?
Oh, man.
Seems like it, getting checks in the mail and banning bump stocks. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He would mirror it. I mean, I'm not I've never been a Trump, like super supporter, but, excuse me. When he banned bump stocks, he lost me.
Yeah.
I don't care about bump stocks. That's not the thing. I don't care about them.
Right. It's the point.
They officially make a weapon ineffective, in my opinion. But for him to sit at a desk and write a law and enact it, I'm out. But then again, I don't vote anyway. I'm an anarchist, by the way.
Okay. I can dig that.
I'm an anarcho-capitalist. I don't believe in the squidgy side of anarchy. I'm an extreme libertarian. But I don't think everyone talks like right now, who you going to vote for and whatever. And, I don't vote. Well, why don't you vote? Do you think if I push the button harder, it'll make more freedom or what? Do I tap it multiple times? How do I make this?
I rub it. I rub it right.
Yeah.
Down.
Do you rub it? Do you spit on it first? No.
You should.
Well, just spit on it and walk out.
That's what freedom feels like.
Especially with the coronavirus. You got to spit on that shit first.
Yeah. I mean, the last person I could have seen myself voting for was, of course, Ron Paul.
Good guy. I like a lot of his shit.
And that's it. And just because Ron Paul was just a no-nonsense, the government needs to stay out of what's not declared in the Constitution.
Yes. Have you looked into the libertarian platform that's going right now?
Yeah. I like what is his name? Scott Hornberger. Is that his name?
Is he the older guy?
Yeah. He's a little bit older. I like him. I do like that. What's the libertarian president's name? I don't know. I like that he's not running again because he's the one, he went after Tom Woods and all those guys, saying he put out the note that said you have to declare your anti-racism. And Tom Woods is like, it's obvious I'm anti-racism. This is just, I don't want to try to capitulate to the left. Once you start capitulating, it never ends.
Yeah, you give an inch,
so he's like, take
a mile.
He's like, I don't want to. I don't want to let them know I even think about them. And so I'll remember his name later. So he started gunning for him. And that Tom Woods is a libertarian hero. He's there's a couple guys that are libertarian heroes, and Tom Woods is one of them. He puts out a show every day teaching basic libertarian principles, and he's converting people to the cause. And for someone to go after him, it's ridiculous.
I'll do some more digging on him. I've heard the name, but there's so much. There's such a broad perspective of everything that it's kind of hard to take in all of it.
Libertarian's a big tent. It's a very big tent.
It's a rowdy one too.
Yeah. But anyway, so you come back from the Democratic People's Republic of Washington, and how old are you then? What, 22?
21.
21.
I just turned 21.
Okay. You come back into the loving embrace of Spanish Fork, and you start working at a gun store right away, or what's?
I actually started working for a tree company.
Okay.
I worked for them off and on through high school, so family friends.
Nice.
They're owned out of a small little shop that has gotten bigger in Spanish Fork, family-owned company. Very, very Republican. Like Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Republican.
Yeah, I can dig it.
So with the help of...
So did you kind of swing back then?
I did. Yeah.
So when you're that age, when you hear I mean, those guys, they know how to communicate. That's their job. So they'll say something in a manner that, if someone hears them, they're gonna absorb it. And even the left, and all that stuff. So, don't blame yourself for flip-flopping. And when you're that age, I mean, you can't find your ass with both hands if it's in your back pockets. You're a kid still.
Yeah.
I never could figure out the party politics of it back at that age. It was kind of
I had no clue.
listened to it. Does it sound free? Does it not sound free?
Then I didn't even think about free or not. Back then, you could have came up to me. I was in the military, joined and served under William. You could have came up to me and said, "What is he?" I'd have to think about it. I didn't understand what policies were then. I didn't understand any of that. It's not until you get old and grumpy and pay a lot of taxes and
a lot of taxes.
And there's a reason why the two parties center between rural and urban, because of services available and services desired. So, okay, sorry, we keep dragging off track. I'm supposed to be grilling you right now. Anyways.
Turn up the heat.
So you come back, work at a tree company, you come back from hippie land, working a anti-hippie job, but a hippie job.
It's a labor job. You know what? You got to work a labor job at least once in your life to really appreciate how the economy works. And I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
If someone hasn't worked a labor job, I just have a hard time.
Now he's a welder. He's in a major labor job.
That is a labor job.
Yeah. From anybody can do it to you better be able to freaking do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And welding's a skill. It's a skill set, a lot of patience. You've got to be exact.
Durable.
You gotta have your shit tight. I like it. Anyway, so come back, work at a tree company. Then what? You're being converted to a Rush Limbaugh Republican.
Yeah, and I just continued down that path for a couple years. I changed jobs.
Now, how old are you now?
When I changed jobs, I think I was 26.
So you worked there for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Manual labor for life.
All right.
Good skills to have.
Yeah. And how old are you now, right now?
32.
32. Okay. So you got some seasoning on you. And
a little bit.
Good.
I'm not quite as old and grumpy as, some folks.
Me.
You're a youngin', trust me.
Yeah. I am aged and very grumpy.
Have some more whiskey, that'll take the grump out of you.
Or put more grump in me. But anyways, so you now when you changed the job, is that when you went to the gun shop?
Yeah, I was working at Stouffer's, so I'd get off work at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I'd have my entire afternoon to do nothing until my then wife came home. So I'd go down to the gun shop, I'd learn, and I'd work on this and that, and just kind of glean what information I could. That's where I kind of started understanding that, our Second Amendment rights aren't as safe as people really want to believe. Like, it's just start paying attention when you're in that, especially when you're in that industry of,
Mm-hmm.
like my first gun, like I said, was a Glock 22, 16 round mag. Well,
Yep.
I can't have that in California.
In California, in Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey, and
yeah,
and not just can you not have that, but just to have it, you've got to go and prostrate yourself before the state,
the lords.
Yeah, you have to justify why you need it, and
Yeah,
I
started understanding of how infringements don't have to be, you can't have a gun. It's limitations on capacity, calibers, accessories,
mm-hmm.
like bump stocks.
Yeah, how you carry it. There's limitations on all that.
And that's all infringements. That's when I really started picking up to what the Second Amendment, how it's being attacked.
And how crazy is it that even when the Supreme Court says that's illegal, the state still carries on and no one says anything.
Drives me nuts.
It's kind of crazy, right?
It's
almost like it's
nails on a chalkboard.
It's like the Supreme Court only matters when faith is in the Supreme Court. It's like money. Money only matters if faith's in the money. If faith's not in the money, it doesn't matter.
That makes sense. I like that.
So do you think that you went in this direction because you were mentored, or was it just a biological genetic function of your existence? Which one do you think it is?
I was kind of mentored more than anything, because I didn't grow up around guns at all. Like, I went shooting with the Boy Scouts a few times, and that's my exposure to guns. That and my grandpa. He took me shooting a handful of times. But I think it was mostly because I was mentored. I understood what my freedoms were. And due to some very key people, I started learning what actually entails being a gun owner.
And probably most people his age don't get that kind of an experience in life.
Hey, I got out of the military and I thought, why do people need to carry handguns with them where they go? Just don't go to places where you need a handgun. That was my thought process when I got out of the military.
Oh, okay, that's interesting, because my thought process was like, I'm starting to lean a little more to the left because I had my gun holstered on my right. So it's a little weird being out here in the civilian world.
Well, but that changed not too long after, a couple of years after, and I'm like you, going to, in spare time, you go to some place with an indoor range, drop $20 on a box and try out the pistols just for fun.
Heck yeah.
I just didn't really understand why people thought of it as such a big deal to carry a gun. I mean, I always thought it was kind of annoying having to bring your M16 into Burger King when you're deployed, and you have to hold it up against the wall and make sure it doesn't fall. And, and then you get back, and then, someone open carries and people are like looking at him and calling the cops and freaking out. And that's social engineering to me. And I think that's where the danger comes in.
There's a lot to that. Yeah. There's a lot of, we're off on a tangent again, but I see a lot of the anti-two-way being people uneducated about firearms, uneducated about their uses, about how people, especially responsible people, carry them and use them. You're carrying a sidearm right now. That's not going to come out to gain you any monetary value, but it could come out to save your monetary value you already possess, or your life, or possibly someone else's life. And that's an important thing. What they don't talk about. Remember when there was that shooting at the mall there? Yeah, Trolley Square.
Yeah.
Was it Trolley Square?
It was Trolley Square.
Off-duty
cop.
What was it? It was a guy who wasn't on duty, but he's carrying a weapon concealed.
Yep.
He's a cop, whatever. Cops are special.
Still, that shooter wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, but a guy with a gun moved forward and advanced and slowed that guy down. So that guy, finished himself off, but a guy with a gun advanced and slowed him down. I think it's good.
It's a simple concept.
It is. It is. Yes, there are going to be bad guys with guns. Going to be burglars with guns and
There's bad guys with baseball bats,
Yep.
crowbars,
yep.
pipes.
It's not the tool's fault.
That's right. That's right.
So have you ever had an experience where you needed or wanted or wished you had your gun and you didn't have it, and that might have influenced you somewhat?
No, I'm pretty antisocial. I try to stay out
Yeah.
of the public.
Yeah, I
But-
can dig it.
There's been a few times where simply having it on me was the greatest mind easer ever. There was one time I was walking through Salt Lake right near Pioneer Park before they cleaned it up, and was being followed by this guy, and he ended up harassing me physically, but not hurting me, but he ended up tripping me. I go to fall forward, and I was carrying almost the small of my back. My jacket come up, he saw it. Oh shit, he's got a gun. He ran off, and then his two buddies that I didn't even see on the sides ran off.
So, yeah.
So you
honestly-
saved your life basically by
Yeah,
posturing.
The sidearm deflected possibly further negative intentions.
exactly.
Yeah.
I know my dad used to tell me about one time in New York City, he saw a girl forced into a vehicle. I'm like, Dad, why didn't you do something about it? He's like, well, what am I going to do? It's
Yeah.
not like you can have a gun down here. And I always kind of looked down on him for that when I was younger. And then recently, not too long ago, my wife and I were driving down California, and my wife sees some white girl getting trunked by a Mexican guy in California. And as we're driving by, and she's like, David, this girl just got put in the trunk.
Yeah.
It's, what am I going to do about it? I don't have a gun. I'm in California.
Yeah. Well,
So
especially for females, a female, that's the equalizer. That levels the playing field. That big
absolutely.
6'8"
agree.
guy, 275. He wants to put his paws on you. Even a 22 is going to equalize that.
Oh yeah,
It's going to change the odds right there.
Hmm.
100% agree.
And what a crappy feeling it is to just be like, well, I guess I'll just have to drive on by that.
Yeah. And if you don't, and if she isn't armed, I mean, I'm a proponent. I think every female in Utah should go get their concealed carry permit,
Yes.
train on that weapon system. Pick one pistol, pick a pink one, a purple one, an orange one. I don't care.
Muddy Girl camo.
Yeah.
My wife was a big fan of that.
Yeah. Train on that bad boy. Become proficient. Become to where, your first shot at hip level is dead on, and then you push out for the further shots.
It is all about equality in my mind.
Yeah.
And we invest so much of our tax dollars in basketball and crap like that in high school. I think equality is life and death
Mhm.
in such a matter, and we should be training kids how to use the Second Amendment safely.
Well,
That is one of
Yes.
my personal.
imagine what it would do for the Second Amendment if say this year 5 females thwarted rape with the sidearm. Just 5.
That's huge.
It could happen in Arizona and in Wyoming, but just 5 females, because right now, that's kind of a big hot button issue,
Oh yeah.
and rape was thwarted with a weapon. I think a lot of Second Amendment would be changed. Now, it might be changed just for females, but that's still a step in the direction that I'd like to see.
Oh yeah. I agree. I've always made sure that my ex-wife, I made sure she was armed, and I made sure that my current wife was armed, because like you said, it's the great equalizer.
It is.
My wife drives for Lyft and Uber.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what kind of shenanigans are going to jump inside your car.
Yep.
My wife's brother drives for Uber in Brazil. He already had a knife put to his neck and all sorts of crazy things.
It's
So,
terrifying. Like
Yeah.
there's
Mhm.
strangers in and out of your car. Like
So our holster, just like yours, would be perfect.
Yep.
Don't even have to skin it. Just reach back and let the slide hit you in the armpit.
You know, slide bite's a hell of a lot better than
Oh yeah.
a slit throat.
Yep.
So Jay, you are a leader in the Second
Yes.
Amendment
Okay. We're going to talk
movement
about.
for Tooele. So let's talk about
We got.
let's talk about that and get on track. It's a very fascinating story.
Utah 2A. We're getting a lot of shame.
There's a blue one.
Yep. Utah 2A. All right. So now, where did this start?
I actually started it down in Utah County.
Okay.
I met with Mike Smith. Great guy.
Okay.
He's the county sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Met with him, you know, kind of let him know what I had in mind.
Talk a little closer to the mic there. There you go.
Sorry.
Oh, that's smooth.
So Utah 2A. Yeah, you should be doing like a late night, blues show.
I was abducted by aliens.
This week on the Smooth Hour.
Oh shit. Marvin Gaye all night.
So yeah, I got started in Utah County. That's where I live. That's where I thought it would be best to start. I talked to Mike Smith,
So you talked to the sheriff.
I talked to the sheriff first.
And what was his thoughts on it?
Well, I kind of mentioned the sanctuary thing kind of in passing, but I kind of wanted to feel him out at first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where do you stand on the Second Amendment? At the time, the legislative session was just beginning. So,
Now, how long ago was this?
I want to say right around the beginning of January.
Okay. So it's
Middle of
moving
January.
quick.
Yeah, Utah County moved really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I was very pleased with that. Kind of just felt him out in our first meeting. Where do you stand on, ERPOs, background checks?
What's an ERPO?
Extreme Risk Protective Order. It's what we commonly refer to as red flag laws.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So kind of just felt him out, see how he felt about, all the bills that were in, going into the legislative session. Find out his stance, what he was willing to do in the Capitol. That was an extremely awesome meeting.
It's a big thing. You need the sheriff to back you if you want to go.
100%. Yes.
He's more important than the council. He's more important than anything because the sheriff is the one elected official that's armed.
He is top law in the county.
Yep. He
supersedes federal.
According to the law, he can stop the FBI from coming into your county. And he's the only man that can. The governor can't. The city council can't. The, bishopric can't. Whatever.
So what you're saying is when it's time to elect a sheriff, make sure he's very pro Second Amendment?
The sheriff is probably the most elected official you elect on earth.
I would definitely grill every candidate for the sheriff position. So I met with him, kind of felt it out, kept growing my group. Then I set up a meeting with William Lee, one of the commissioners in Utah County. Kind of the same thing, where do you stand on this? This is my movement. This is how many people I have backing me. And then I think one thing that was very important is I asked him how he felt I could help push this forward. A lot of politicians, I think, want to feel important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you get their input, ask them how open-ended questions, how do you feel about this? How do you think we could go about this?
So you went Socratic on him, just a lot of whys,
Yes.
a lot of hows.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. I got some interesting feedback. Some of it I agreed with, some of it I didn't, but you're always going to get that. And then I just kept growing the group. I accepted everybody that tried to join, and eventually I think we're currently up to, we're not as big as Tooele County's membership, but I think Utah County has, I think we're right on the edge of 900.
Nice.
Yeah, Tooele's at 1.2 thousand.
Yeah, well, I think Tooele in the last registrar was the third highest armed county in the United States.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of support out here.
Yeah, we're retarded. But anyways, no, we're not retarded. I mean, we're gun loving people. We're, you know,
We like freedom.
a lot of hunters, a lot. As you could see when you walked into my house. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that's a dominant part of my life.
I was very impressed actually.
Yeah, that was a good one. The others are they're you know, they were meat, but that one was nice.
Very.
But I like I like I like your swagger on that. You started talking to the people that you could
Make a difference with.
yeah, solely support with.
Yeah.
You know, and then you gather people and you say, hey, we chatted. Now I've got 900 buddies who, you know, we've all kind of got the same thought process. And, you know, remember you said this. How do you feel now? You know, and not in a threatening way, but,
Right.
you know, you said you support Second Amendment. So let's, you know, let's lay the bones down.
Definitely gives you a lot of ammunition come election time. I mean, you're talking to these people now. They're not looking to get elected, but they will be. And this is what you've talked to them about. This is what they said. You're potentially going to be a big shooter will come election week. And I hope you do. I hope you do bust out that ammo can.
They seek to come talk to you soon.
That would be very interesting. Actually, yeah. I don't know how I feel about having the tables turned.
Well, I mean, eventually, you know,
yeah,
they're going to beg. That's 900 votes, and in Utah County, that could make or break some stuff.
I know. I'm going to ask the question. Hey, where do you stand on gun sanctuary states and counties when people are going to go up for election?
Where do you stand on gun laws? Where do you vote on gun laws that are being proposed at the Capitol? You know?
Yeah. I've actually started going through the gubernatorial candidates and kind of grilling them on this. So that's been a fun undertaking.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you finding out?
Most of them are very pro 2A.
Good.
I had a good conversation with Amy Winder Newton.
Mm-hmm.
She's very pro 2A. She doesn't support ERPOs, any kind of ban. She actually called them arbitrary, I believe was the word that she used.
Nice. That's a good word.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think I had
I think if you're going to take someone's firearms rights away, it needs to be done through a due process.
Exactly.
You know, you have to come to a court and not a court of, you know, people who already dislike guns. You have to come to a fair court and say, look, this guy's a danger because he, you know, he has a history of burglarizing, or he has a history of, you know, getting drunk and raping, you know, things like that. All right, we'll take his firearms away until he's shown us that he can maintain sobriety for 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think it should ever be anything permanent unless that person, you know, goes out and commits murder. And I'm not talking, you know, accidental or manslaughter. I'm talking actual murder with a firearm.
Yeah.
And it has to be with a firearm. We can't account it for, you know, he hit someone with his car and then we call it a day. It has to be he used this specific tool.
He's got a habit of shooting people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's bad.
That's a bad habit. That's worse than smoking, I would say.
Yeah. In that case, I would actually agree.
It's worse than secondhand smoke for sure.
I'm a smoker, so that was extra funny.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So for Tooele, what are we doing for the 2A movement currently?
There is some awesome guys. Let me pull up their page. I've been chatting with.
We can actually pull it up on the computer as well.
That would be fantastic.
All right.
Because I would say I think I joined your Facebook group for Tooele a couple weeks ago.
So did I.
Not even that long ago. I didn't know that there was an actual movement trying to create a gun sanctuary state here. And I think that's fantastic. And I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, I actually didn't do it, to tell you the truth. I had, like I said, I started in Utah County. And I got to give credit to Chad Krupa and Carl Knighton, two of the guys that run Utah Firearms Association. They actually help spread the 2A sanctuary movement around the state.
Mm-hmm.
They have been awesome. They were great help to me in Utah County, and now they're, they've really helped spread this movement like wildfire across the state.
So this is a big group. It's not like one guy. This is an actual, hey, we're really trying to petition the legal side and the legal aspects of this. And there's more than one person. If you haven't already, go check this Facebook page out. Meet these people.
It is a private group, so you should request or members can add you, and come to it in good faith. Don't, if you're anti-gun, send me a message saying you're anti-gun. Explain that to me, but come to the group in good faith. And if you come to me in good faith wanting to join, I'll add you to it gladly. But if you come in bad faith, then, you'll no longer be my friend. And I won't invite you to my parties.
I appreciate people with opposite opinions. I think
true.
If you can come to the table with an opposite opinion, make an argument.
If you want to join, telling me, hey, I want to talk to these guys because I disagree with them, I'll bring you in and I'll take the heat for that. But don't tell me you're all for it and then come in arguing against it. Come in good faith. Be an honest actor.
So
is there more than Facebook? Is there a Twitter or anything like that? Or is this pretty much the standard medium?
Pretty much it's on Facebook for now.
Yeah.
I know Jeremy Navarez has been awesome. He stands, I believe he's an admin. Don't quote me on that.
I think he is. He's made
he does a ton of posts.
A couple of communications. But yeah,
there's some good guys on there that's they're all about getting in touch with your local leadership.
The commissioners.
The commissioners, the
That's
sheriffs.
the objective right now, right?
Yeah.
So right now, Tooele wants to reach out to the commissioners. We got Kendall Thomas, we got Sean Milne, we got Tom Tripp.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our commissioners. How do they feel about the 2A movement, the 2A sanctuary county movement?
And from what I've seen coming from ours, there's been some positive interaction on that. Moving in the right direction.
These are great questions to ask when they go up for election.
It's seriously hard to button those guys down, to get them pinned down on one subject. I mean, they should teach dance because
they are politicians. Politicians are good at that. That's for one thing.
They are.
I will say that there has been a ton of communication through email. But one thing that I found most effective is it is super easy to disregard an email. Their assistants account for more read emails than they ever will.
Well, you don't even need an assistant to do that because
No.
I forget to look at mine all the time.
Exactly. You pull up your inbox and you see 400 emails. You read the first 3 and then you're like, trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's not that they're doing it to be a dick. It's just that they're busy.
Life. Yeah. And if I've got an email or a face-to-face.
That's where I'm going with it. Face-to-face, meet them face-to-face. It creates an actual relationship between two human beings.
It does.
Which is more than an email can ever do.
Yep.
Especially in the county meetings. I go to the county meetings on occasion, and I always find it interesting, the public forums where people are, they can get up, they can say their piece, they can bring to attention what they want the commissioners to listen to. How they consider it, that's on their side, but you do have that opportunity to get up there on the public forum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you're trying to go with it. I think I saw that on the group.
Yes.
That's eventually where we want to go with
well,
this.
that gets it out in the open. That's not a closed door where they can, that's a answer given where the most people get to hear it.
And one interesting aspect was you were planning to do that on the 17th of March. There was supposed to be a meeting,
a commissioner meeting. Yeah.
And I think because of the coronavirus, it was said that no one was allowed to go to the meeting, but you could watch it on Facebook.
That is correct.
Right. And And were they supposed to actually talk about the subject? Was someone supposed to get up there and talk about it? It just never happened, or?
To the best of my knowledge, I do believe that is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I know the group was pretty upset that it never got talked about, and there's been a resurgence of, we need to contact them now since it didn't come up in that meeting.
Yeah. I think they need to start looking at modern technology, call in, we'll give you a number to our Skype or our Zoom. You call in, and that's like coming to the podium. And that way you're asking a question where everyone else gets to hear it. And,
I think that is a fantastic idea. I would get behind that in a heartbeat.
I mean, while we're fighting the coronavirus and while we're not within 6 feet of each other, as you guys can see.
You do have some free time?
Yeah. Yeah. What do they got you doing at work now?
We're going to talk
Which
about
work,
this
huh?
now.
I mean, I just went to the airport today. It was sad. I felt like I was literally watching the airlines crumble to the ground. It's infrastructure that is starting to go away, and when we need it back again, it's not going to come right away. It's going to take time to rebuild. So there's a lot of damage being done by our little coronavirus epidemic here. This is it's going to be a long-term thing. I was hoping it wasn't going to go this far, but apparently I was just offered 90 days of leave from the airlines, and I took it. Paid or unpaid, of course.
Wow.
Come on, I mean, we're not socialists. But I took it. I'm willing to step down and do my part, because it is my second job. It's not my first.
Well, there's also that, but also if you step away from that, it allows you to come back in 90 days to a business that is, however much money you would have been paid, more robust to start back up.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be very busy in 90 days. I'm hoping this is going to blow over and they're going to say, oh, you know what? People want to go places now really badly. I wish we didn't lay people off for that long. But again, when you're talking about,
maybe give you a call and say, we'll give you 50 more cents an hour if you can get in today. And
oh God, no, if they call, you go. That's the way it is. It's private industry, but it's
that's also private industry.
Yeah. You're talking about retiring jets, mothballing jets, and then bringing them back into the system. It's not a on-off switch. It's definitely a time-consuming process. You want to do things safely. You want to go through all the rigmaroles of the checklists. And
I'm hoping that they're putting jets on a rotation of getting checked out by mechanics while they're off, just so that when it picks back up, they're ready to go.
And that's going to be up to the public too. I mean, how does the industry react? All right. So the coronavirus has declared a victory for humanity and we're going back to normal. How much air traffic will happen? Who knows? It's going to be a very interesting experience.
On the price.
I don't know. I think everyone's going to be really antsy. They're going to want to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
Get out of Tooele, get out of Utah, get out of the States.
Get out of Tooele.
But it's definitely interesting. I'm very fascinated how this whole coronavirus thing is going to work out. I don't know. I still think we're overreacting myself, but maybe we're not.
But that's from our point of view, where we haven't witnessed anybody
dying from this
or
virus.
even being seriously sick.
But I hear the flu's killing more people than the coronavirus still.
Yeah, but how do you judge anything? I mean, and then again, our start of our anxiety started from China, which kept it quiet, and then all of a sudden we get numbers when the numbers are way up here. So what is that? I don't know.
And then will they use this for martial law to take freedoms away from people? And that's where I get scared.
They are.
Yes, they are.
Forced the gun stores to shut down in California.
That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense whatsoever.
All those leftists, when push came to shove, what did they do?
Got armed and told everybody else they can't.
We got to buy some guns. They all did that. And they were being interviewed in gun stores, and they're like, please don't use my name. Please don't use my face, but I'll answer your questions. And that's what they did. Because they're like, if I've been preaching against this for years, but shit just got real.
Now they kind of see how much infringement, I guess you could say, that all those crappy laws, 10-day
Mhm.
waiting periods, ammo taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're starting to really see like, oh, wait, this does affect me.
Yep.
And it's so bittersweet to see because it's
And how fast does it come on? 2 weeks. We went from working to people locked in their homes, being threatened to be arrested if they're talking with 8 other people, or
Yeah.
It's ridiculousness. And this is a sign of preparedness. Be prepared. Have some food, have some water, have a plan, have an idea of what's going on.
Have some toilet paper, huh?
Yeah. Well, you don't need toilet paper.
And by the way, Costco has a lot of toilet paper right now. I just went and bought some.
Did you? I heard they only let so many people in at once, though.
Yes, I was standing in
How
line for a half an hour just to get in. It looked like a Russian bread line. It was insane.
Well, the toilet paper, that buying is going to taper off.
You had a lady with a megaphone, like shouting out the propaganda for Costco or whatnot.
The propaganda for Costco.
It's like it was pretty wild. I was pretty amused, but I got my toilet paper. Now they're out of rice and yeast and flour.
I get
So
another nip.
oh, absolutely.
Well, see, you know what? I have bought toilet paper during this crisis, but not for me. Bought it for family members who need it.
Yeah, maybe we can start handing it out as like online prizes or something for the podcast.
Well, I'm one of those weirdos who
Use it as a bartering chip.
I keep 2 16 packages on at all times, and when one runs out, I buy another one and put it behind the one that's already there.
Yeah, I always buy the big supply,
and I always buy 2, and I replace it because I don't want to run out of toilet paper. So I'm still, I'm still high on the hog with that.
Plumbers are going to be so busy after this. I mean, I know I flushed a lot of baby wipes.
Yeah.
So, but
well, how many people
strong?
How many people have flushed socks?
Ooh.
You know what? I haven't thought of that, Jared.
That's the grizzly one right there.
Thanks for that enlightenment.
Socks or military. Army anyway. You'd come back from the field and everyone had belly shirts on because you'd start in 2-inch strips and you'd poke a hole and just rip it all the way around.
I was in the Air Force, so.
Well, you guys had hotels and shit.
We had cable.
We had tents, maybe.
I haven't had it that bad, but there has been the rare camping trip where you forget to bring the TP and you end up using rocks.
Well, yeah, but dude, your T-shirts.
The round rocks, right?
Well,
not
even
the sharp
hunting.
ones.
Even hunting. If I go on an overnight hunting trip, sometimes you got that toilet paper, but it's been in an ammo pouch or something the whole time. It's dusty, and you don't want to use some 80 grit on the chute. So you just take your knife, cut a strip, poke a hole, just rip around your body. It's nice. It's almost like a good 4-ply, good texture.
It's no shit. There we were.
Yep.
No, plenty of shit there.
Yeah.
So
anyway, so
hop
back
on
to
that tangent. How'd we get on that one? I don't know.
Yeah, we got to rambling. Next time I'll teach you guys how to do a combat wipe. And anyway, so let's get back to the 2A. So the goal is to reinforce our Second Amendment with through aiding in elections or questioning during elections.
Yeah.
And what else? Is there any education set up?
There's no education set up as per now, unless it's been voluntary by the members.
Mm-hmm.
Like I put on my page and on my personal Facebook, if there's anybody who, wants to learn, PM me and I'll teach you everything I know.
Okay.
But what's the benefit of being a Second Amendment sanctuary county? I guess that would be.
There's a big
That is a great question. What it is it's just reaffirming that they will not infringe any further. Like we all know that, there's already infringements on our rights. It sucks, but we understand it. We live with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes compromise.
We
has
would
to
like to
happen.
fight back Right now, it's just the tip in us.
Yeah,
We would like to get the tip out, but we don't want the shaft in.
exactly. So right now it's just halting what is trying to be moved forward.
Mhm.
You know, like Utah County in their resolution, they put in that they will not dedicate any county funds towards the enforcement of anti-Second Amendment laws. That's huge. Like they're
That
not,
is.
like that means, you know, the sheriff is not going
And-
to get any kind of funding to do, you know, enforce ERPOs,
Mhm.
enforce gun bans, enforce magazine bans. All that stuff is basically null and void because you can't do that without funding to do it.
Well, that also gives you a buffer to start the education side,
Exactly.
to educate the populace, to reinforce that, and then maybe push back, maybe send forward some
Pro 2A.
state senators that say, I kind of want to put a bill forward to nullify this last bill.
I've actually done a lot of thinking about that while I've been home these last couple days.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got you out of work too.
No, I just work Monday through Thursday.
Oh, nice.
So I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. It's nice.
Nice.
It's a big chunk of free time, huh?
Yeah. I've been shooting a lot, which I kind of had to stop because the ammo shortage, but
Yeah, I've heard there's a pretty fierce ammo shortage right now. A
yeah.
lot of people buying it up. It's not short because they're not producing it, which that may be coming next, but it's short because people aren't buying it.
People are buying it.
Or I mean, people are buying it all up. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little buzzed. Haven't eaten, breathing mesothelioma all day. Gets me.
Well, other than the mesothelioma, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are buying ammo like crazy. I went to, before the whole coronavirus thing broke off, I was at Sportsman's
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, I had a couple $100 to blow. Why not get some ammo, right? I like shooting. Go out and kill some, you know, paper targets.
Mm-hmm.
Spent like $300 on ammo.
Did you get earplugs too?
Shit, I work in a weld shop. I get those for free.
Yeah. Yeah. That's called pocket at 6.
It's like the ones that I have at my house are like the ones I have at work, but they're different because they're at my house.
Yes. And they smell like your pocket.
I
Yeah.
just always want to reinforce wearing hearing protection while you shoot.
Yeah, you should. I've lost
Absolutely.
in my right ear 60% and in my left ear 40.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Eyes and ears.
Yeah.
Keep them safe.
Well, yeah. Honestly, you know, and we should have you back and do just like a gun safety show, and we should film it at a range, you know, wear gloves. You know, it can be just light gloves, but wear gloves. You're at a range. You don't want to damage. You can cut a finger off if you need that fill. Wear gloves. You're in a dusty environment. You're loading magazines. You know, wear eye protection. Wear hearing protection. I'm not a fan of earmuffs because the earmuffs get knocked off your ears and then they're null and void. I like earplugs. But,
Same.
you know, however you want to go with it. I do a little bit of long distance shooting. Doesn't really comply with earmuffs. You can't get a good cheek weld.
You know, I've always used earplugs and I've never thought about really using earmuffs because earmuffs are more expensive than, you know, 100 pack of earplugs.
That's true. When they give you earplugs at work. But anyway,
I
so
can neither confirm nor deny
yeah,
that.
but if you can get them to at least hold it, that gives you a chance to set up education,
Yeah.
and you can start out on, you know, we have a meeting on 2A and what it means, and you can bring people in, and then you can go Socratic on them and get them to challenge their own thoughts on it.
That is a lot of what I've actually been thinking. I've been trying to type up lesson plans,
Mm-hmm.
if it were. You know, I can't think of a better
I like
term.
it. I like that you're actually writing plans. You're not just daydreaming this like I do in life. You're actually doing stuff.
Well, I attended the Libertas Institute Legislative Boot Camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot. And a lot of that has transferred into how I've done the 2A stuff and furthering, you know, like you said, the education side of it. It's been very, very helpful to learn not only what they taught me there, but how to work with the human psyche,
Yeah.
how to, get other people involved without them knowing that they're getting involved.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. We should cut this out because you're going to be getting people involved without them knowing. I like it. Hey, brainwashing for good is brainwashing for good,
Yeah.
And it's nice to reinforce to everyone. The Second Amendment is the one that enforces all the others.
Gives the Constitution teeth.
Yeah, because all the other amendments are okay. It's offense. All the amendments are offense against the government encroaching on what should be a nominally peaceful life. And the Second Amendment is what decides whether that's a chain link fence or, we'll call it a toilet paper fence.
A line in the sand.
And that's the difference. The Second Amendment makes it so that they have to double think. Remember after the Boston bombing when they locked the city down and they were rolling through, going house to house in that, what was it, Newcastle or Bricktown, whatever it was called. They went house to house. Would they dare try that here? Would a SWAT team dare try going house to house, just forcing people out of their house at gunpoint here? Because how many houses are armed?
What, in Tooele County, isn't it like 95%? Isn't that what the
I obviously have zero firearms, people, but I think my neighbor does. I'm not sure about that guy. The lady across the street might. But seriously, they couldn't dream of doing something like that here. They couldn't, because let's say it goes good a couple times, but let's say 1 in 100 goes good. That's still how many houses are not good, and how big is your SWAT team? Where when they do it in Massachusetts,
what goes through their mind when they do that? I was in the military. I understand how the whole force concept, but I wouldn't want to be sheriff, whoever, going into somebody's house in Tooele to red flag them. But maybe if you stand off and wait for them to come out of their house and go shopping or something, but I just can't see police officers going through somebody's door
just
and expecting it to go okay every time.
Just getting in your chalk. I mean, first of all, they're not doing the preparedness for the entry. I mean, the preparedness for an entry is takes 7 times as long as the entry itself. You do the 5-paragraph op order. If you're doing it right, you do at least an engineer tape run through, but the preparedness, you build up, then you do it, and that makes it go smooth. These guys are going to a door. They don't have any intel on the house. They might know the name of the person who owns the house. If they're goddamn lucky, they have a census idea of who lived there at the last census.
That is terrible.
I want you to think about that. A 6-man team, no marksman support. They've got an armored vehicle that's over there somewhere. What's that thing going to do? An uneducated asshole's going to open up with maybe an automatic weapon at you. And I watched him. I was on a SWAT team. I watched him. I didn't see a shield entry. I didn't see any of that.
Oh, my.
Oh my. To each their own, I suppose. I would say it's pretty risky.
So here they couldn't do that. But there, with their gun laws, they could. Mm-hmm. Now, they did it in an affluent area of town. They probably couldn't do that where there's gangs or drugs. But where they did it, they could pull it off.
You pick and choose your battles, right?
Yeah. But that's just the sign of the Second Amendment. Where that holds strong, legally or illegally, you're defended from the 4th and 5th being violated.
Exactly.
And that's what that was. That was a violation of other amendments.
Yeah, that seems a little extreme to go through an entire town door to door to just apprehend a criminal.
There's so many better things that could be done with that manpower.
Go home and jerk off. You know,
See,
sorry.
exactly.
Man, I'm getting buzzed. I should have eaten before I come here because we're going to have to censor this show. But anyways.
Great.
And now our advertiser, the Fleshlight.
You know, that was Joe Rogan's first advertiser.
I believe it. They probably got a lot of advertisers.
They mailed him boxes of it.
So
I hope the Fleshlight comes to advertise with me.
Let me put this forth. So we had Tom Tripp on our show, and he talked about how in the past people from other cultures and locations would come to Tooele, influence the vote, change the vote, and then they'd have to go reach back and grab more Mormons from Salt Lake to reassert the vote the way that they wanted it.
Yeah,
they went back and forth like this. So right now we have a huge influx of blue state material coming into Tooele.
Mm-hmm.
And that blue state material can vote, and it could possibly vote in a way that would be hostile to Second Amendment rights. And this is what goes through my mind is, what if we become a little mini California refuge, and those votes influence our very gun happy culture here in Tooele? Now, could this gun sanctuary legislation, could it prevent, even if it is a majority vote against my right to own a gun, could it prevent that from occurring, or at least make it more difficult? Is that kind of the line of thinking where this could end up?
Yes.
Yeah, we end up like Boise. Look at Boise over the last 10 years.
What about it?
Yeah, I'm not following.
Boise's fallen into Boise is standing alone in Idaho as that trap of progressivism through the whole state. I mean, it's damn near, you got all of Idaho, which is further right than we are, and Boise is almost further left than Salt Lake.
Yeah,
so it's a huge contrast.
That's exactly my thought process. Is I think, you know, everyone feels very safe and secure with their gun rights here in Tooele County. I don't think that is the fact for eternity. I really see a lot of people from California coming in with anti-gun views.
All those good ideas. You know, we need to up regulations and.
I mean, is there a way that we can, through this process, fortify the fact that, hey, we have the right to own a gun and nobody can take that away from us, even if you vote with the majority to enact legislation against guns or gun owners?
Yeah, it's a good question. Can we get a legislation pushed through that defends it forever?
I honestly think if we get enough counties to pass these resolutions and ordinances, the state legislature will have to pay attention to that.
What counties are we looking at right now that have passed, that we're arguing to pass, and that have denied us?
Give me just a second.
Yeah, no, by all means.
Y'all have Wi-Fi.
Do you need to turn it on?
Yeah. My service is crap right here.
Who do you use for your phone?
Metro PCS. I am one of the poors.
Hey.
I just switched to T-Mobile myself.
I'm one of those poor gun owners who spent, hundreds of dollars putting it together an arsenal.
I don't want to.
Not really. It's not an arsenal. I have like 3 or 4 guns.
Yeah.
Promise.
When I started buying airsoft guns and my airsoft ammo, you wouldn't believe how expensive those little plastic balls are. And I made the mistake, and I'm fixing to start selling my airsoft guns, and maybe the ammo that goes with them. But you got to stick to your field gun, your shotgun for hunting. or your airsoft shotgun for hunting. You got to stick to your deer rifle, and then you want to have main battle airsoft rifle. Assault rifle is a fake term. Your main battle airsoft rifle. You want your sidearm. You want your holdout, and then a home defense shotgun. But I got this spread, so 9,000 airsoft pellets later, and it's all over the place.
Those BBs go everywhere.
They go everywhere, and those BBs come in different sizes,
colors, calibers,
different colors. They come in different colors.
Oh, I understand.
And you've got to mark your colors on the box you keep them in, or the boxes. And so then when you open it up and you got 13 boxes and you're digging through looking for, is it the red BB that's empty in the middle, so that the BB acts different when the BB interacts with other stuff?
Yeah.
You want to be able to load those BBs quick so you don't miss out on the game.
And if I've got to get out of Dodge and I'm going to try to load my BBs, the zombies are going to be on top of the damn house before I've even pulled it out of the BB holder.
So to answer your question about which county,
what counties we got? Sorry, I got sidetracked with airsoft.
Hey, airsoft is a great
It's
training.
Important.
It is.
It's important.
So this was posted by Utah Firearms Association on March 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's been a couple more counties added, but the counties who have passed resolutions or ordinances are Wayne, Beaver, Uinta, and Utah counties. And then the county.
Now, I like that you got Utah, because Utah
is absolutely pivotal in the state.
It really is. It's that mid ground.
Oh my God.
It's that half and half, urban and rural.
It is.
You've got Eureka. No, Eureka's Juab County. You've got Spanish Fork, but you've also got Provo and Orem, which are kind of gentrified areas.
Yeah.
But you've got Spanish Fork and
Payson, half of Santaquin.
Yeah. So that is an important county, where like Tooele is, you could call it rural.
Yeah.
I mean, Tooele City is.
That's putting it nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Just ask your wife. She loves it here. Anyways, Tooele is really rural, where Salt Lake, that's a holdout. We're probably never going to get Salt Lake. But, but Utah counties, I think the hub man on both sides argue for Utah County.
The way that it was explained to me is why Utah County is so important is because it has, I think, 30,000 less people than Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Every candidate that wants anything to pass in the state has to go through Utah County.
That's right.
It is absolutely essential to have Salt Lake and Utah counties on board with whatever is tried to pass in the state.
Yep.
Not knocking any of the other counties. Tooele is a great county. Go Tooele.
Yeah, Tooele is but we are a hick county.
It's a little smaller.
It is.
It's not.
Well, it's
quite
huge.
the size.
It's physically huge. We just don't have any people in it.
I'd move out here.
We'd welcome you. When the house comes up for sale, I'm going to shoot you an email.
Hell,
we'll become shooting partners. We'll head out to the range, and
houses might be cheaper in the next week.
Yeah. With the boomer doomer virus, I'm sure they will be.
Boomer doomer. We're going to get, I can't go off on what I want to call it. Anyways, but yeah, Tooele is now do you hunt?
I'm getting into it.
Yeah, you are?
Yeah. I've never hunted in my life.
Have you selected a rifle you want to use?
I have.
What do you got?
Howa 1500 and 7 mag.
Oh, 7mm. That's a good round. That can transfer to any animal you're going to hunt around here. You can go for bear with it. You can go for moose. You can shoot down to deer and gut it while you shoot it.
Exactly.
It's
shot placement.
7mm is a very beautiful round. I love that round.
You know, I was really split when I bought it between the 300 Win Mag and the 7 Rem Mag.
Yeah. The 300 Win is a very beautiful round, very
It's
powerful.
Great round. I love it.
Shoulder blower. Yes,
7 Mag's still on the shelf, while 300 isn't.
yeah, hey, it's another good point. It's another good point.
That is honestly one of the biggest determining factors.
And that's a big thing. A lot of guys turn their nose up to 9mm. It's the cheapest decent pistol round you'll find.
That's my favorite pistol.
You know?
round.
I like it.
I like 45s. That's my favorite pistol round because it's silly to shoot twice. But a 9mm is affordable, and I can shoot 4 times for the 1 time on the 45 and call it a day.
Something to be said about numbers.
That's right. That's right. And if you enjoy to squeeze the trigger, then, you know.
So if you're a 45 guy, what are your thoughts on 10mm?
I have never shot a 10mm. You know, it came in like a bull, and it mostly got adopted by the FBI, honestly.
Yeah.
And then left real quick. And the problem is it came in at a time when the FBI was pushing for a lot of females. And I'm not saying females can't shoot it.
No. They can shoot it.
Anyone can, but it is uncomfortable to shoot. Even a 45 can be uncomfortable to shoot for a full-grown man.
Yeah, with the wrong gun and
Well,
wrong
especially
ammo,
with the wrong
it's
gun.
terrible.
And the bigger the ammo, the heavier the weapon system that carries that ammo.
Yeah.
You've got to remember that. So then the FBI started scaling back, and now they've settled on 9mm again because it's a good universal round.
If it comes down to it, it's gonna be everywhere.
But I'm the guy that, you know, the next gun I really want to try is the 5.7. You know, something that shoots that 5.7 ammo. You know, it's like a little mini rifle bullet.
Like a hopped up 22.
Yeah, they're really hopped up.
It's like a super
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, I mean it's a pistol round that has a lot of coefficiencies that match up with a lot of your rifle rounds. And you're killing you're killing with cavitation. Then you're killing by sending a shockwave through gel.
Incapacitating.
Oh, that's true. That's right. I apologize. I still remember that they taught us that if we ever have to do something like that, and we're in court and justifying, they say, why did you shoot 15 rounds? The answer is, that's all I had in my weapon at the time. And that was the lawyers telling us what to say on the stand. That's all I had in my weapon at the time.
Sounds logical.
You know,
I mean,
why'd you shoot him 15 times? Well, because I didn't have a 16-round magazine. You know?
if it's life or death, why be conservative?
Yeah,
You know?
Kept twitching. You got to shoot till the threat's incapacitated, right?
that's right. You're stopping the threat. And then we carried 9mm, so it might have taken that many. Maybe not.
Oh, everyone's got me.
And it was 9mm ball, so there's a pretty good chance.
9mm ball, I could see.
I mean, you know, granted, we'd be shooting him and the person down the street because it'd go through him, through their wall.
Coronavirus.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you guys be careful of my son out there. But anyways, man, I am super buzzed. This is a good show. We need to have the.
What
we need
is
to have
this
the.
stuff, huh?
Tennessee whiskey.
Is that a honey whiskey?
This has got honey in it.
Yeah,
It
I
goes
can
down
taste the
really
honey.
good.
Oh, it does. It's smooth, has a little burn.
This is the extra happy hour.
Yes. Well, this is what we should be doing every time. Imagine if we got trip drunk.
No, naughty.
Mother flower.
He might have
That
told
would-
us some more
That would have
stories.
been magnificent.
If y'all like ribs, dump
Yeah.
this over your ribs.
Really? Is it good on ribs?
Yes. Oh
Nice.
my god.
Smoked?
Yes.
So throw this in the smoker. Dude, I'd be standing out by the smoker all day just breathing.
Oh yeah, it's
Just
great.
living in that shit. Anyways, dude,
Or the venison you just shot, right?
Yeah. I've
with
got
your
some,
9mm?
I've got some backstrap in the fridge. No, with my what's that kind of gun again? I said
Airsoft.
my airsoft gun again. Yeah.
Hey, you know, if you pump that enough, it's like if you pump your BB
Oh, a
gun
little
enough,
closer. We lost you there.
if you pump your BB,
Oh,
BB
shoot.
gun- oh,
Did you unplug it?
What did we lose here?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Uh-oh, I screwed it up.
No, I don't think you did.
We have a lot of technical issues going on with this podcast. It's
I want
quite
you to,
normal.
I want you to look at me. I'm an 8 running equipment. All right. So we have lost the microphone. So we're gonna throw him another mic. It's a different style.
This is a Rush Limbaugh mic. We're
This
talking
is a
about
mic
Rush
that's-
earlier.
That's gonna pick up everything in the goddamn room.
Don't fart.
All right, talk into that.
Testing.
Negative.
Oh my goodness.
Did something come loose on his wire?
Must be. Hang on to that.
Yes, sir.
And this is the fun part of the show. All right, plug the mic into this. We may have lost a wire. Hello? Oh my gosh.
Did your wire go bad?
I'll bet it did. I've got more. All right. Now's when we put in those technical difficulty
Now a sponsor, the Fleshlight.
the flashlight.
I can do some dancing.
Oh, that's what we need. We need a dancer up in here.
We'll insert our sponsor here.
Yeah. All right. Plug this in to the back of the microphone.
Go to the back of the mic.
Yeah.
Other side. I got a mail in the mail.
Oh, all right.
This isn't California, but
or
Hey, to each their own, huh?
yeah,
That's what freedom swings.
dude.
as long as you're not infringing on anybody's
I'm all-
right, do whatever the hell you want.
All right, try that out.
Testing.
Oh, we're back in business. So we lost some wire. Sorry about the.
Hey, I don't have to sit as close now.
I'll
No,
cut that
yeah, I
out.
can hear you. Good stuff.
Oh, good.
All right, we're back in business. Now we got a mess of wires on the floor, but
All right, so where were we? Besides choking on the jack.
I like where you're going with this. You're thinking about training, thinking about bringing more people into the fold.
Of course, yeah. The more numbers we have, the more influence we have. It'll always be that way with politics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what it is.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
honestly what it is. Have you? What's your plans for maybe reaching out to newcomers to bring them in, get them out on the range with you, teach them some trade craft?
I've played with the idea. I haven't gotten anything in the works yet, but about having like a range day,
Yeah.
like pulling, a couple of the counties from up north that are working on it, a couple of the counties that are down by me, a little further south, maybe meeting somewhere like Lee K,
Uh-huh.
having like a great big range day.
Have you talked to any maybe gun shops saying, hey, would you guys be willing to come bring in an assortment of firearms?
Kind of.
I'm wondering,
I've-
say they brought a couple of pistols, a couple of rifles,
Right.
maybe a couple of the evil,
Black semi.
what do you call it? The AR-14 or whatever.
I just want to say that the AR-14 is one whole AR safer than an AR-15.
Damn right it is. But maybe bring a couple of those, maybe even bring some hunting rifles,
Yeah.
and just say, and invite people to come in. And another thing, I think we need, this is going to sound weird, but we need to start communicating communicating this to middle school or junior high school age kids.
Kind of like what they do in Russia, where you have those little girls
Yeah,
tearing apart those
teach them
AK-47s in less time than qualified Marines could.
Yeah, teach them gun safety.
Yeah,
I mean that's a big thing. I taught
Huge
my
advocate of
son gun safety from the start.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
It's
if you see a weapon out,
absolutely pivotal.
keep your hands off it. And if I say you can touch it, when you touch it, you check. You do a pressure check right off the bat. A pressure check is where you check. You slide the slide back halfway to see what's in that barrel. Teach them things like that. You start teaching them that, and then you teach them shooting. Where does your trigger finger go? How do you stand? How do you, what to expect?
I know there's been some talk with the Utah Firearms Exchange about starting to lobby for a gun fundamentals in schools.
And that's the thing. Even if you just get it pushed through the safety side.
Yeah, purely safety. This is what you do. This is what you don't do.
Hey, kids, if you see a firearm and it's just laying on the ground, who do you call? Or if you want to ensure that, this is safe, what do you do? How do you teach them a pressure check. Where do you hold it? How do you point it? Keep your finger off the trigger.
Seems like such basic advice, something that seems so common sense from my point of view.
Yeah.
But they're so busy teaching square dancing. I don't know. I totally agree with you.
I remember square dancing when I was in elementary school.
Square dancing is a useful tool when you come into adulthood in Utah County. Thank you very much.
Is it?
But so is gun safety. And that's my
I was
point.
going to say, you're in Tooele. We still do some of that weird stuff out here.
I agree. Gun safety is the only way that we're going to stop the assault on the Second Amendment is to normalize gun ownership.
It is.
If you take the taboo out of it, then it's not some, crazy fringe belief.
It's a piece of equipment that you can control.
Exactly. It's an inanimate object. We've been how long have we been doing this show now?
I haven't a clue.
A good amount of time.
Yeah, it's 9:30. I bet we're into it an hour.
Hasn't done anything.
No, all it's done is, it's weighed heavy on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Not just that it's probably weight, but also it's a responsibility that you have decided to carry for yourself and for your fellow man.
It can cause ergonomic problems in your future if you wear it every day.
Hip carrying a weapon system is, it can wear you out quick.
It actually does a lot of damage. I won't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced that.
When I inside the waistband holstered my Glock 22, I really wish I would have had a compact.
Jeez, putting a light on that shit.
Oh,
God damn. You take a profile that's, yonder.
it was just by itself. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. I walked funny for a month after I stopped carrying it because my concealed permit lapsed.
Oh, now you got to stay on that. That's another thing I want to talk about. I need to get after both of you.
Oh, here we go.
For my fellow advocates, if a right is offered, take it and keep it. That's all I have to say. All right. We're done.
Fair enough.
All you have to do nowadays is take your picture on your goddamn phone in front of a white wall and mail it to them, and then they send you a new one. Oh, you got to pay them too.
So for the sake purely of argument, I went through my class. I, jumped through all the hoops. I did it all. It's in the mail. For the sake of argument's sake, just pure argument.
Mm-hmm.
If the government sells you a right as a privilege, is it not your responsibility to disregard that privilege and exercise your right anyway?
Oh, I believe you should carry, but also I believe you should get the permit.
Okay.
I honestly, I believe it's dog shit that the government steps out. I mean, Arizona and Wyoming have the correct idea of saying, yeah, this is what it is. Do it. But we have to live in the real world.
And if they taught it in high school, would you really need these permit systems?
And another thing is, if you're in Trolley Square and Captain Shitbrick opts to pull his weapon out, you're going to be target number one because you are the threat.
If you're open carrying.
If you're concealed carrying,
Yeah.
you're not target number one.
Right.
And you can eliminate that son of a bitch.
Well, what if everybody's open carrying? Then it's
Well,
Price is Right.
then I imagine that guy is going to fill up his tank of gas and drive to, Colorado.
Yeah, could you imagine being that idiot, seeing everyone open carrying and be
Hey.
like, "Hey, you know what?
No.
I'm gonna draw my weapon."
Now, once
Come on.
everyone decides to open carry, I would love nothing more in life than to say, go to the movie theater and every mom there with all her children to have a 1911 on her hip. Or, you know what? Let's call it a Glock 17 on her hip.
Could balance
I
that
would
huge
love
purse that they
I
carry.
would love nothing more. A big pink accessorized, maybe a little bit of bling on that bad boy.
Gucci Glock. Why
like
not?
Gucci Glock,
they've
I like
gone for it. I would love nothing more than all the ladies have gone for it. They're not only showing, hey, mine and my children's lives are important enough that I'm willing to put up the most defense for it. But I'm going to bling that bad boy up. Look, I've glued some gems on it or whatever. I've been to
Bedazzled it.
Yeah, I've bedazzled
Bedazzled
it.
sights.
Yeah, gun dazzled it.
Yes.
Glock dazzled it. Whatever.
Make it your own.
Yeah, it's your own. And then the lady's like, "Ooh, I love what you've done there. The nails match." I would love that, but until that day comes,
Relief Society would be great.
oh, you're damn right. Now let's talk about Utah has a special circumstance that is damn rare in the nation, and that is the right to carry on a state school property. That is damn rare, and Utah has it. And funny, we haven't had any school shootings in Utah.
Isn't that amazing?
It is a shocker.
Probability?
Not even in Salt Lake, and
Nope.
they hate guns up.
Not even in the Salt Lake County, city, whatever. I was going to say other stuff.
It's amazing to think that simply the option of a presence of a weapon
Mm-hmm.
will shut anybody down.
It'll make them think of other options.
Yeah.
You
Like
know?
if I'm a bad guy, I have the squeakiest clean record you've ever seen. Couple parking tickets and a speeding ticket, I think.
Mhm.
But if I were to go to the dark side, I'm not going to go anywhere where there might be an option, like
Well,
even a
that's-
sliver of a chance
that's
of
the
somebody
thing.
having something.
That's the thing. If you're a goal-oriented person and your goal is to maximize number of casualties, well, that does away with that.
Yeah.
Because there's a chance that your maximization is done. So what are you going to go for? You're going to find, I don't know, the vape shop that has the sign that says no firearms in the window. Or you're going to go for, whatever. You're going to seek out a target where you can maximize casualties.
You're definitely not going to want to hit an IRS building or a bank.
Jesus, I'll tell you, the first time I went to DC, and you're walking, you come out of the train station, or was it Penn Station or whatever it is, the train station. I rode the train in, and you walk right by the IRS building, and you would think that all the dignitaries were in there, because there's guys walking around front with submachine guns, not giving a shit to hide them.
Wow.
Whatever. They're just walking around front. 7 guys walking in front of this, brick building built kind of like a temple, submachine guns out. That shit wasn't at the nation's capital. Shit wasn't anywhere else.
Wow.
But at the Federal Reserve, but that's what it's the sound of printers make. Anyways. But yeah, no, I dig what you got going on, man. I dig it. And what can we do to help?
Get the word out.
Okay.
As long as we have more people joining up in all the counties. Numbers mean everything right now because
Mm-hmm.
you know
It's an election year.
Yeah, 3 people sitting in a room. How many people do we actually influence with our voices? You guys run a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people you reach, but
I don't know, 7 or 8. I don't know. Well,
and a half.
I
And a half.
force my family to listen to it.
well, if that's 7 or 8.5, then those 7, 8.5, 7 or 8.5 know 7 or 8, and then those people know 7 or 8.
Mhm.
You know, the numbers grow exponentially every level. So
Mhm.
pretty soon after 7 or 8, you guys have reached, 500,000 down the
Yeah.
line. That is what is important. Even if not everybody is on the page, if they hear our voices and they hear that they're not alone in their thoughts.
Well, if they have questions too, please,
Oh, yeah.
please come with your questions and come with your arguments.
Oh, especially your arguments.
Challenge us.
Yes.
And that's the difference between groups like this versus the left. Is when I go to the left with challenging questions or opinions or ideas, you get banned in those groups. I was just recently banned in a Republicans against Donald Trump because my views are very freedom orientated, right? So it wasn't even arguments about Trump, but that is important.
Man,
that is
Republicans
important.
against Donald Trump.
Yeah, can you imagine? I got banned.
I
from
got
that.
a lot of stuff to say right now.
I got kicked out of a militia group.
I am drunk, and
I didn't know we had one. I was looking for one, but
there is a couple of Utah militia groups.
are there? Are they involved with the process too?
They're not.
They're not.
I have tried to keep these groups
Just
completely separate from any
Just a
other
half.
entity, political, military, anything.
Yeah.
I want it to be completely.
Hey, they're people too, and they have their freedoms,
They are.
and I totally respect their.
They are. My issue with
Capacity to
most
gather.
militias is they're authoritarian. That's usually what pushes me away from, which I shouldn't be. My training wise and my thought process wise, I shouldn't be pushed away. But I fear authoritarianism more than I fear damn near anything. I mean, that just scares me. Either side,
Right.
because they all end up in the same place. I mean, either it's helicopter rides or starving to death. It doesn't matter. It's still,
Right. No, but just recently, going back to your, bring questions. Welcome opposition.
yeah.
Like, understanding where the people on the other side of this issue are coming from, I might be a little buzzed too.
And they're honest actors. As long as they're honest actors,
Yeah.
that's important. And they're going to come and say, "Look, guns scare me.
Why?
Guns hurt people." And
The best question to ask is why?
yeah,
Why do they scare you? What about it scares you? Let's address the concerns that you have.
yeah,
Listen to where they're coming from, because I would argue that most of the time it's policy, not person. And if you can reach some kind of middle ground talking about policy, then you can build on that.
you're showing them that you're a decent human being.
Yeah, you're
with
not
a gun.
You're not, Ash from The Walking Dead. You're
Negan.
Living Dead. Yeah, you're not Negan from The Living Dead, just bashing people in.
I like Ash better. Shotgun
I thought you would.
and the chainsaw.
The chainsaw.
Yeah.
Yes. This is my boomstick.
Yeah. That's the stuff right there.
No, you can show that, because let's be honest, the left and the other side of this issue paints us as a bunch of gun-toting hillbilly rednecks that are shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, and that rarely happens.
That is their goal, as to what they portray us as. If we can meet at the table, answer questions, grow, not only
Show them we're decent human beings. We're compassionate people.
If you talk to us and listen, you will definitely walk away with a different perspective.
Mhm.
Problem is, a lot of these people will use the tactic of walk away or blare a horn in your face, or they just don't want to hear your point of view.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
There is.
And that's what I seem to run into in life a lot on that perspective of the political spectrum.
It is rare to find people who are willing to meet at the table and, conversate. But when that is available, it is paramount, absolutely paramount to take advantage of that. Listen to the opposition, relate to them, build on what common ground you can find.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Like, I know there's a couple of the counties in the 2A movement that are getting pushback, a ton of pushback. There's been, for every one call or one email that the members of the county are pushing in, there's just as many calls or emails pushing back against it. Set up a conversation with them. Find out who they are. Get to know them.
What counties are the most complicated counties for Second Amendment to break into?
That's going to require me to look up a bunch of stuff on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Is there a lot of them?
Well,
No.
obviously, you probably got Salt Lake.
Salt Lake, I'm working on getting a movement going.
How's up by Ogden?
Davis County is actually, there's been a little bit of pushback.
Yeah.
There has been some pushback, which is kind of where I'm kind of centering these thoughts around.
Get up there, get talking to them. They're, what is their sheriff's stance on stuff?
I haven't talked to him personally,
Yeah.
so I don't want to speak out of turn and, put words in his mouth or anything. The best person to talk to about that would be Carl Knighton.
Okay.
He is the leader up there. He's kind of leading the way.
Okay.
And then I'll find the other guy.
And a lot of this leading the way stuff is just reaching out, calling the sheriff and the commissioners,
Setting up meetings
and saying, "Hey, will you listen to what I got to say?"
Yeah. It's really just, putting yourself out there enough to where you're accessible. Jeremy Bishop, he is the guy to talk to.
Okay.
He is fantastic. He has actually changed this from a little bit of from the 2A sanctuary to constitutional compliance,
Mm-hmm.
which I actually really like that. I think that's a great direction to take it.
Yeah. Well, that's just a good word, constitutional compliance.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I know, when I first started looking for a coalition to build in Utah County, I got some pushback because the word sanctuary is, California.
Well, that kind of triggers both sides.
Yeah, exactly. But the constitutional compliance takes that completely out of the equation.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, this is what we want to do. Our name actually completely says it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jeremy Bishop has been key in getting this push forward.
Sharp guy.
Yeah, he is.
I like it. Well, we're going to continue to push this, obviously. I would like to extend an offer to all the leaders of the different movements through the counties. I think we should all get together one day.
Yeah.
How would it be if we met at a bar one night?
That
Made this a real happy hour.
That's illegal right now.
That might be terrible.
Man.
No gatherings.
Oh,
10.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, there's at least 14.
It'd
people in
be
the group.
It'd be a quick show the first half hour, and then we'd shut the cameras and mics off. We should have shut ours off a while ago because I'm about to.
All right.
But that'd be good. It'd be good to get together at a range.
Shoot me your name. What's your name?
Jared Anderson.
Are we friends on the face space?
I don't know.
All right. Well, shoot it to me after we're done, and I'll add you to the admin group.
The admin, huh?
Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Special rights and privileges.
Don't
already.
expect me to be spectacular because I'm an ape running electronics. I want you to remember that.
Even an ape running electronics is,
Yeah.
useful once in a while.
I'll come out with a bad joke every now and again. But thanks for coming on.
Now and again.
Thank you. And
Well, thank you for having me.
If anyone has questions for Jay, or if you've got your own county, you want to find your own county guy, you can ask Jay who the county guy is. You can ask us. We will find that out for you. Pro or negative, if you want to go in good faith and talk to these gentlemen or maybe a lady about your arguments for or against, come to it in good faith. Just don't weasel your way in. We've already said right now everyone's willing to have that honest argument, I guess is the wrong word for it, but that honest conversation.
No name calling, but if you can present an argument, I totally support having opposition.
Yes,
I think I enjoy it.
That's what makes either your idea is strong or it is weak, and arguments is how you find that out.
Exactly.
You've got to go through the crucible to find out if your ideas are correct. And if you're not willing to do that, let's say you build a football team and you never play a game. Can your football team play football?
Theoretically, but theoretically it's not real world.
I could build a football team tomorrow. Probably can't play football.
Anyone can build a podcast. Will anyone listen to it?
Yeah.
7 or 8 people.
And a half.
7, 8.5. He listens to every third or fourth. But yeah. But yeah, reach out, talk to him, get involved.
No one's going to stand up for your rights if you don't.
That's right. That's right. And you've got to remember, this is the teeth that defend the rest of it.
And think about all the people who already died and suffered protecting or building the right to own a gun as a free citizen.
Yep. And there has never been a mass atrocity where there's been a right to bear arms.
Or if there was, it was a short-lived one.
Well, they've always eliminated that first, every time. And it doesn't matter what side you're coming from. That has to go before they can, eliminate the people they dislike. But yeah, Jay, thanks for coming in. And you're welcome back anytime.
Well, good to hear.
Anytime. If there's something new coming up, shoot us an email, let us know. We'll pop you in.
All right. Sounds
Definitely.
good.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Aren't we supposed to bump elbows or I don't know. You
Social
do like
distancing.
like a hip thing or
We can
there's
do a
some
booty bump.
dude, I'm thinking Kid and Plays Dance off of House Party. Oh, I'm talking to children. Have either of you seen House Party? Has anybody seen House Party? All right. Kid and Plays Dance where they all right, you guys.
I'm offended.
Look it up. You're offended?
I'm offended.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Do you remember the dance?
It's been a minute.
Do you remember the dance?
Okay, maybe I'm not offended, but I have seen that movie.
That's right. All right. Watch House Party. It's a new handshake. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And we will see you next week.